Morning, friends. This is Dolynny TV. Glad to have you aboard here this morning as we get set up to talk about that overtime loss to the Toronto Maple Leafs last night. A game in which, from all accounts, the Oilers had some good stretches, but obviously costly mistakes. The loss of Darnell Nurse to that hit from Ryan Reeves, and just some blown leads in the third period end up costing the Oilers, and that's the way we go. So what we'll look at here today is kind of the whole situation, kind of all the ramifications of the game and all that. But I will tell you, unfortunately, I was unable to watch last night yet again due to having some other commitments. Of course, November this year has just been an absolute crazy schedule, to be honest with you. The hard part at work is now up and done, so we should be ready to rock and roll once we get through the rest of this calendar month. Friends, if you're new to the channel, I would tell you to consider hitting that subscribe button. I know I've been missing in action quite a bit here over the past little bit, but I'll tell you, this happens time to time, okay? That's it, that's all. So what we know about the Oilers here today is, they are kind of tied for the NHL lead in a really bad category, and this one was sneaky find by Patrick over on the Oilers Fanatic, seeing this one from Sportsnet Stats earlier today. The Oilers have allowed 18 goals in the final 10 minutes of regulation this season, tied for most in the NHL. So that is pretty brutal for the Edmonton Oilers all told, right? I think you really can't be too impressed with giving up the most goals, tied for at least, in the NHL in the final 10 minutes regulation. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean we've blown every single game that's happened, but you see what happened last night, and you see, obviously, the results of that. So, tough situation there for the Oilers, and again, when they got to figure it out here, when I've been yelling all season that they got to kind of commit a little bit harder, execute a little bit better and all that, that is a good stat that shows why. So, then we move on to the Ryan Reeves hearing, which basically Elliot Friedman was just replying back to a comment that had been thrown on the NHL player safety account over there on X. And basically Elliot Friedman clarifying here that it will be 5 games or less for Ryan Reeves for the illegal check to the head of Darnell Nurse. So that's where we sit today, obviously waiting for news on Nurse. Still looking at this stat, oh boy. But yeah, news on Nurse should be coming either today, tomorrow, and then as well, hopefully for the Oilers, we can kind of get things going here over the next few games and tighten up and get back on the winning ways, right? If you win 5 out of 6, it's just as good as winning 5 out of 5. So for the Oilers, hopefully, we get going here, and obviously, too, you kind of figure out a way to stop allowing those late game turnovers, late game goals against, all those situations that have cost the Oilers. Again, for those of you that weren't able to tune into the game like me last night, maybe I should catch you up on what exactly happened out there against the Toronto Maple Leafs. A 4-3 overtime loss in which Connor McDavid continues to ride hot. Adam Henrique opened the scoring. Bobby McMahon answered back 2 minutes later. McDavid then opened the scoring in the second period, the lone tally on the power play. And the nice part is the Oilers' penalty kill went perfect last night, so that's one thing you can look forward to. Matthew Nyes, Bobby McMahon, while they blow apart the lead late in the third period for the Oilers, Draisaitl scores with a minute and a half remaining. Nugent Hopkins does pick up an assist, so for all of you worried about what he's doing, he did pick something up last night. And then Mitch Marner gets out there in overtime, makes a good defensive play on Draisaitl, and McDavid comes hustling back and scores the goal. And I mean, Stuart Skinner, you'd love for him to have that one. It's kind of reminiscent of those 2 goals against in the Stanley Cup final to my eye anyway. So the Oilers, they outshoot the Leafs. They actually have a ton of hits last night, 15-18. Still trailed in that category, though. Still out face off the Leafs and killed off 4 penalties. So like I said, it was a game in which the Oilers had some good stretches by all accounts, but just the costly mistakes, the stupid turnovers and stuff like that ultimately cost you, blowing the lead late and having to try and fight back in overtime. Friends, I'm Tyson. This is Dolynny TV. Thanks for being aboard. I am up on out of here.